5.5b. Today we're going to continue our standard form lesson. And the properties that we need to understand with standard form is the x and y terms are on one side of the equal sign. That means you have something like this. ax plus by is equal to c. The x and y are both on the left-hand side. This one side means left side. And then there are also never any fractions, ever. It's not simplified if you have fractions as a coefficient in standard form. Brings us to our vocab word, integer coefficients. In coefficients just means a number in front of a variable, and integer just means a counting number and its opposite. So integer coefficient means no fractions in front of the variable. Sometimes you have to get rid of them. Does anybody remember how to get rid of a fraction? If I had this 3/4
Multiply.
x by what? Multiply by what?
4.
Reciprocal. Not recip. No, we don't want to. If we're solving, we multiply by the recip. But if we want to get rid of a fraction, we just multiply by the denominator. Okay, so if I said rewrite this with integer coefficients, that means get rid of any fraction. So this is my fraction, right? To get rid of the fraction, I multiply it by 4 because it'll cancel. But then I got to multiply everything by 4 to keep it equal. That cancels it out, and I get 3x plus 8y is equal to 20. That is in standard form, simplest form. Okay? We'll have to do some examples there.
Would you multiply 3 by 4?
No, because this is saying by 4 over 1. So the 4's kind of simplify out. Alright, next line. Getting rid of fractions. There we go. Getting rid of fractions. We need to multiply everything. Look at, I'm dramatic. Everything through by the denominator. So to get rid of a fraction, you multiply through by that denominator. 1/4 x plus 3y. We're going to rewrite this with integer coefficients. That just means get rid of the fraction. Okay? So, looking here, I have 1/4. I want to get rid of the 4. How do I get rid of the 4, class?
Multiply by the denominator.
Multiply by the 4. That cancels out. And I get 1 times x, which is just x, plus 3 times 4 is 12y is equal to 20. And that's in simplest form. Okay? I'm going to have you do another example. I'm going to just group this quick and move it. All right, 4x plus 2/3 y equals 1. What do I need to get rid of? The 3. I have to get rid of the 3. So how do I get rid of the 3? I'm going to times by the 3. I'm going to times everything by the 3 to keep it equal. Right? So 4 times 3 is 12x. This, it's like timesing by 3 over 1, so this just cancels out, right? So it's plus 2y is equal to 3. There we go. Fractions are gone. Life is easier. True story. The next concept that we're going to cover with 5.5 is writing in standard form. So that's also known as translating. So if we write in standard form, our agenda is to get the x and the y on the left. Because standard form is ax plus by is equal to c. So we want the x term first. It's not by plus ax, it's ax plus by. So we want to make sure that that x term is first. So it goes to the left. So here, if I said translate to standard form, this 3y is equal to 4x plus 3, I want to scoot my 4 to the left. And how would you do that? I would subtract 4x, right? And then it goes in front of the 3y. Now this is where it's going to get tricky, because watch. So this turns into negative 4x plus 3y equals 3. Now, do you think that's simplified?
No.
Well, you're saying no because you know that I said this is going to get tricky. I'm going to tell you it's not simplified. And I want you to try to think, why is it not simplified? Okay, Madison, I heard Madison say it. I want to hear it. Raise your hand if you have an idea. Okay. All right, you just heard that. Wilson, what do you think? Because you don't want to start out negative. You got to start out on the right side of the bed here. You got to start out positive. So if you start out negative, it is not simplified. You need to make sure the x term is positive. So if this is negative, in order to make it positive, I just pretty much change the sign of everything. 4x minus 3y equals negative 3. Now that's kind of tricky. I don't want to over-explain myself. I just kind of want you to see I went from plus to minus, positive to minus. Okay? How did this get over there? Because I minused 4x to move it, because this is like a positive 4x, and to move positive, I need a minus.
I don't know how did that on the other way, right?
Oh, because I had to change the sign of everything. So if I changed the sign of this, I had to change this to minus, and since this was positive, change that to minus. That's fine. Okay, I want you to do this one in your notes. Y is equal to a negative 2x plus 1. Okay, moving y is equal to negative 2x plus 1. Turning that into standard form, the ax plus by is equal to c. I need to scoot this over. How I scoot it over is plusing 2x. Because it's a negative, you gotta do the opposite. 2x plus y equals 1, and I'm done. And I am done. Alright, if I wanted to translate this into standard form with integer coefficients, again, standard form is not simplified unless you don't have any fractions and you don't start off negative. That's the two criteria. So the first thing I want to do is move my 1/5 x over. This is a positive 1/5. To move it, I would subtract 1/5 x. Okay? So I have negative 1/5 x minus 4y is equal to a negative 3. So there's a multi-step going on here. So now what do I need to get rid of?
A fraction.
Which is, what number do I need to get rid of?
Negative
5. Multiply everything through by 5. So that cancels out. I'm left with negative x. Negative 1 times x is just negative x. Minus 20y is equal to a negative 15. Am I done?
No.
No, because I'm starting off negative. I don't want to. So now I'm going to just change the sign of everything. X plus 20y equals a positive 15. Me just changing. Subtract to plus, minus to positive. Okay. I'm going to do some more examples for you to practice. I'm going to start off a little bit easier. I want you to turn this into simplified standard form.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, so looking here, I see I do not have integer coefficients. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of my fraction. Timesing everything through by 5. That cancels. The 5's cancel. I'm left with 3x minus 50y is equal to 1. Because they canceled out. Okay, I want you to do this one. Make it 2 7's x. Okay, I want you to write that in standard form with integer coefficients. Alright, the first thing, there's a couple of us that use different strategies, and I think both of them are effective. One of the strategies I saw right away was someone got rid of the denominator right away. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's actually a super organized way to do it. So then that turns into 28y is equal to 2x plus 21. Okay? Now move my x term over by subtracting 2x. It's got to go in front of the y. So negative 2x plus 28y is equal to 21. Am I simplified?
No.
No, because I'm starting out negative. I need to start out positive. 2x minus 28y equals a negative 21. Graphing in standard form. This is the main reason we do standard form. The MCAs are going to ask you to write with integer coefficients, get into standard form with integer coefficients. You're going to be expected to get rid of any fractions. The second concept with standard form is a quick way to graph. And that would be if you find your intercepts, you can quickly graph any line. Because a line is a collection of 2 or more points. If you have 2 points, you connect them, you got a whole bunch in between. So the first thing we would do is find the intercepts, plot the intercepts, connect. Example. If I had this written in standard form, some of you may right away want to get y alone. That's okay. Everything is an effective way that's all the same way to represent a line. Okay? But another quick way to do it, if it's written like this, if you don't want to get y alone, is find the intercepts. The x-intercept is when y is equal to 0, so it kind of cancels out the y term. Okay? So I get 3x is equal to 12, x is 4. The y-intercept is when x is equal to 0, so it kind of cancels out that x term, and you get 2y equals 12, y is 6. So you have your x-intercept is at a positive 4, your y-intercept is at 6, and then you can connect them, and that is your lines. Okay, so that's another way to do it.
Sweet.
So you have 2 strategies for graphing. Well, actually 3. You can get in slope-intercept form. You can get in point-slope form, kind of an awkward way to graph though. Or keep it in standard form, find the intercepts, and plot them and connect them.